Now is the aforementioned Mark Simone, WOR radio show host, Rich Lowry, editor-in-chief at National Review, and Tammy Bruce, Fox News contributor and author of, and we got the book, there it is, Fear Itself is the name of Tammy's book. Tammy, 18 days to put together a team like this, that is no small feat. But what's extraordinary is you still have a backbench. You got people like Rick Grinnell, Kash Patel, possibly FBI. Rick might be a roving peace ambassador in Ukraine and elsewhere in the Middle East and so forth. Ben Carson, Bob Lighthizer. I mean, you still have a backbench. They haven't used up all their picks.
Yeah, I'm looking for Byron Donalds, a fantastic guy. I mean,
absolutely.
There's all kinds of people and things that can still happen. And yet, you know, he has had 4 years to recognize who's had his back, who's good on the issues. The America First Institute, which is where Brooke Rollins, she led that. Pam Bondi was on that board. So it's like there's been a little bit of a shadow government. I think he knew exactly what he wanted and where he wanted people because he wasn't going to repeat the 2016 mistake of believing that everyone had the same idea of coming together and helping the country. So he knows what these people are good at. They maybe have not been in the direct Washington milieu, but on the perimeter, but doing great work, great education, great histories, and it's very exciting.
Well, picking up on that, Mark, I mean, the fact is, the first term, he did rely on a lot of Washington insiders, and look what he got. I mean, he got a attorney general pick that led him into the whole Russiagate mess. He got an FBI director. He inherited one that was a mess. And then he got one that wasn't much better. These are all rabble-rousers. And the thing that he wants to do is to really shake up the establishment in a way that it hasn't. Even Ronald Reagan in 1980 and 84 couldn't shake up the establishment the way he wants to. Will he succeed?
He'll succeed in starting dismantling this swamp, this deep state. But they've spent 60 years building this thing. It's got infrastructure to it. It's deep. Hopefully, you can start busting it up and create a successor, J.D. Vance, somebody who can continue it. I think every single pick gets confirmed. You know, they give you these sinister.
Even Pete.
Yeah,
sure.
You know, there's this incident with it was thoroughly investigated, no charges. What was Tulsi Gabbard doing with Assad? Well, when you have hearings, she gets to explain it at length, and the explanation will clear it up. I think everybody gets confirmed.
And you start, Rich, with Elon and Vivek, showing them how, showing them the way. We're going to get into the actual specifics of how that's going to work out. But the idea is it's a pretty interesting game plan. You have the Doge group to actually point out what needs to be cut. Then you have the rabble-rousers, the guys and gals who are really interested in shaking things up to actually carry it out. Again, I ask the same question. Will he succeed? I mean, it is a big task.
Yeah, reducing and making government more efficient is not easy, or someone would have done it before. But yeah, it's literally one of the most creative minds on the planet in charge of Doge, or co-chairing it, and Elon Musk. And clearly there's been an emphasis getting fast out of the gate. So a couple of these picks I don't like, but there's no doubt this is how he campaiged, right? And he campaigned with this big coalition.
Who don't you like and why?
Well, I'm not a fan of Tulsi's foreign policy. The labor pick is not my economics.
What is it about Tulsi's foreign policy you don't like?
Well, she is, I think, bends over backwards to be accommodating to enemies of the United States. But look,
are you talking Putin?
Yeah, I don't think the Ukraine war was.
You know, I saw the same thing. Let me just debate for a second here. I saw an independent piece suggesting that she was following the MAGA pro-Putin line on Syria when she went to Syria. Well, in fact, first of all, she went to Syria in 2015, which was before Trump became president. But ask those Russian mercenaries who were blown to bits, about 300 of them, whether they thought MAGA policy was helpful to Russia.
My larger point is she campaigned for Trump. She was part of the coalition. So this cabinet totally reflects how he ran. And in 2016, there were protests in the streets. There was a Russian investigation going. Now it actually, I've been surprised about this. The left seems primarily dispirited, right, rather than energized to fight them. So there won't be that level of resistance out of the gate, which is going to be a big help, too.
Let's stick with the Pentagon for a second here, because they, of all the various petrified bureaucracies, they are perhaps the most petrified in many ways. They've been at it for so long, from the Eisenhower days when he coined the phrase the industrial military complex. How difficult is it going to be for Trump to separate the Pentagon from their supporters in Congress who rely on those Pentagon contracts in their own district.
Well, this is the issue perhaps with every agency, is that everybody's got their pet dynamic.
That's right.
But the Pentagon in particular, especially with the money that gets lost, when you've got a mandate to fix this dynamic, or hundreds of millions of dollars that they just don't know where it goes, or, it's a remarkable thing that Americans have looked at and have been shocked at, that we've allowed this to continue. This is exactly what the mandate is to change that. And I think the goal of the Trump administration is to remind congressional members of that fact.
Yeah.
And we see a lot of things happening now because of the mandate, like the Jack Smith situation, et cetera, and the withdrawal of those charges and his projects against Trump. And this has to be continued. And he's got to be on a bullet train. He's got maybe 2 years withholding all of Congress. And you've got these choices to head these agencies are inspired. And I will add Dr. Jeanette Nashawat for Surgeon General. Now, people see her, she's had a remarkable background. She's also under some weird attack because she was like pro-vaccine in the beginning. All of us were. My goodness, we've all learned a great deal since COVID.
She was on the front line during the pandemic. She was an emergency room physician during the pandemic. She went to Ukraine, faced the incoming with all the problems there. She really walked the walk. But let me just go to Mark for a second.
These are inorganic attacks.
The one thing that these picks have in common is they don't rely on beltway jobs. There's so many of the picks in the first administration did. These people have a life outside of government. That's a big bonus.
Yeah, that's the problem with the health picks. Again, she was on the front lines, not working for a pharmaceutical company.
Right.
Pete Hegseth, literally on the front lines, not working for military contractors. RFK Jr., the question is his resume. Look at the current health secretary. He has no experience in health. He's an attorney. None. Zero.
Great point.
And by the way, it's not just at the top. You have Marty McCary running the FDA. Marty McCary's written a book about the FDA and the mistakes that it's made. You have Dr. Oz, CMS. They're the people that monitor the waste and fraud at Medicare and elsewhere. David Weldon at CDC. I mean, this is a really well thought out plan here.
Yeah, it's ideologically diverse, which just goes to an aspect of Trump's campaign the media totally missed, which, they tend to portray Trump as an extremist, because he will say things in insulting terms, but he won the center. Right? He won among moderates, gained ground among moderates over what he did in 2020, and had former Democrats and these ideologically interesting people like Elon Musk, who used to be a centrist but has been pushed right by the left's zaniness. So it's a different kind of cabinet we've ever seen from a Republican.
I just want to go back to Mark because we were talking about it a little bit in the green room. The media breakdown. How do they recover from this if they do?
It'll take years. And for all of you at Thanksgiving, don't rub it in. They're in trauma. They're in depression.
Such a gracious guy.
Go easy on them. They're starting to realize that these networks were lying to them. There was no 2025 project with Trump. There was none of there was no abortion ban. They were just lied to by these people.
Did they ever get over it?
Yeah, I think when entities are sold, and like MSNBC and other things.
Elon's going to buy that?
Anything's possible. I'm excited. Each day there's going to be something new.
Okay, gang. Thanks. Thank you very much. Great to have you here.